Alan Watts on Anxiety, Understanding the Fear That Never Needed to Exist. Introduction. The Modern Epidemic of Anxiety. Anxiety is one of the most common experiences of the modern human mind. Despite living in an age of unprecedented comfort, safety, and technological advancement, people today report higher levels of anxiety than ever before. We worry about the future, our identity, our success, our relationships, our image, and even our own thoughts. Alan Watts often pointed out this great irony. The more control we try to gain over life, the more anxious we become. Anxiety, in his view, is not merely a psychological disorder. It is a philosophical misunderstanding, a deep confusion about who we are, how life works, and where security truly comes from. This essay explores anxiety through the lens of Alan Watts' philosophy, the illusion of control, the false idea of the separate self, the fear of the future, and the wisdom of letting go. Chapter 1. What Anxiety Really Is. Most people think anxiety is fear of something specific: failure, rejection, death, or uncertainty. But Alan Watts would say anxiety is fear without a clear object. Fear has a reason. Anxiety is fear imagining reasons. Anxiety arises when the mind becomes trapped in abstraction. Instead of responding to what is happening now, we respond to ideas about what might happen later. Watts explained that the human mind has a unique ability. It can imagine the future. This ability is useful, but when misused, it becomes the source of chronic anxiety. We live mentally in tomorrow while our bodies remain today. The result is tension. Chapter 2. The Illusion of Control. One of the central causes of anxiety, according to Alan Watts, is the belief that life should be controllable. From childhood, we are taught: plan your life, secure your future, eliminate uncertainty, be in control. But life itself is not a machine. It is a process, and fluid, unpredictable, and alive. Trying to control life is like trying to control the ocean. The harder you grip, the more exhausted you become. Watts often used the metaphor of swimming. If you fight the water, you sink. If you trust it, it holds you up. Anxiety arises when we believe we must guarantee outcomes in a universe that offers no guarantees. Chapter 3. The Myth of the Separate Self. At the heart of anxiety lies a powerful illusion: the idea that you are a separate individual standing alone against the world. We say, life is happening to me. The world is against me. I must survive out there. Alan Watts called this the ego illusion, the belief that I exist independently from everything else. In reality, you are not in the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself from a particular point of view. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, you are not separate from life. Anxiety emerges when the wave believes it must survive on its own.
Chapter 4. Anxiety and Time. Anxiety cannot exist without time, specifically psychological time. The past exists as memory. The future exists as imagination. Only the present exists as reality. Alan Watts emphasized that most human suffering comes from living everywhere, except now. When we say I am anxious, what we really mean is, I am imagining a future problem and reacting to it as if it is happening now. This misuse of imagination turns a useful tool into a weapon against ourselves. Chapter 5. Why the Mind Creates Anxiety. The mind is designed to solve problems, but when there is no immediate problem, the mind creates one. Alan Watts humorously described the mind as a good servant but a terrible master. When the mind runs without purpose, it begins to search for danger, even in safe environments. Anxiety is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that your mind is overworking. Chapter 6. The Trap of Self-Improvement. Ironically, anxiety often increases when we try too hard to fix ourselves. The constant message of modern culture is, be better, improve yourself, eliminate flaws. Become fearless. But who is doing the improving? Alan Watts pointed out the paradox. The self trying to improve itself is like a knife trying to cut itself. The more you chase self-perfection, the more you reinforce the belief that you are not enough, which feeds anxiety. Chapter 7. Letting Anxiety Be There. One of Alan Watts' most radical insights is that resistance creates suffering. When you resist anxiety, you amplify it. When you label it as dangerous, you empower it. Watts suggested a counterintuitive approach. Allow anxiety to exist completely. When anxiety is fully allowed, it begins to dissolve, like a knot loosened by relaxation, not force. Chapter 8. The Wisdom of Not Knowing. Anxiety demands certainty. Life offers uncertainty. Alan Watts taught that wisdom lies not in knowing everything, but in being comfortable with not knowing. He often said, "The mystery of life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced." When you accept uncertainty, anxiety loses its foundation. Chapter 9. Death, Impermanence, and Anxiety. Much anxiety stems from fear of death, whether conscious or unconscious. We try to secure permanence in a world defined by change. Watts reminded us, change is not the enemy of life, it is life. Just as music exists because of silence, life exists because of impermanence. Anxiety fades when we stop demanding permanence from a temporary experience. Chapter 10. Trusting the Process. Perhaps the most powerful message Alan Watts offered is trust. Not blind optimism, not false positivity, but deep trust in the process of existence. Life has been unfolding for billions of years without your personal supervision.
Chapter 11. Living with anxiety, not against it.
Freedom comes from no longer being afraid of it.